So Steve and I would have met in, 2015. We started working at the feed mill together. And then we got married in 2016 and bought the farm. He grew up southeast of Wetaskiwin. His family, they did grain and hogs and dairy through his lifetime. So always grew up in the agriculture industry. We had just started raising the yearling bulls because the farm was still in and based in BC, and that's where all the cow-calf pairs were. So we originally were just going to raise the yearling bulls for a few years, and then when we took over in 2016, basically the decision was made to move it all out here. So yeah, Steve was fortunate enough to run the farm, the family farm, for 5 years. One of the reasons why Steve always loved Heaven on Earth's mom was she has such a gentle spirit. She's one of the biggest cows on the farm and is just so sweet. And so she was born, I can't remember exactly quite the day, but it was cold. It was so cold, and we had just about had her born outside because her mom was 2 weeks early. So then, we brought her inside and put her in front of a heater, and kind of basically ever since then, she was one of the quietest calves, followed Steve around. He just loved that heifer. We'd go out to the pastures, and she and her mom would come right up to the truck. And so we kind of always really took a liking to her, and we had a beautiful heifer pen that year, and so I was tossing through a couple of them, and I really wanted to keep that heifer because obviously that was such a good memory of him and that bond. But I'm fortunate enough to still have her dam, and a couple of his other favorite cows, so I thought I would probably offer that one, and that would be a good representation of his love for cattle. So that was kind of the thought behind that one. He was amazing with the cattle. These animals are big and obviously need to be respected, and he was just so good with them. I have so much respect for people that have such good animal husbandry skill, and as much as that was definitely one thing I really commended him for, his ability to build and fix things. He would wake up in the morning, and most of the time before Addie and I would even be awake, he'd be in the shop, and I'd come home from work and he'd have some contraption built. He could come up with anything and everything that you could ever imagine and build it right from scratch. We had our daughter in 2018, and I get to farm, I'm so fortunate I get to farm with my parents, and my dad and I have a really close relationship. So for Steve to get to farm with Addie was a huge part of it too. It just made it so much more enjoyable, and Addie's taken a huge liking to the farm as well, and she's young, but there's still some really good memories of her and Steve here, which is awesome to see for sure. Kind of gave her confidence. That was one of the things we really struggled with after he passed away, is just her confidence around the cattle, and I guess wanting to be out there was really tough. But we had so much support after, from not just the agriculture industry but friends and family and stuff. But so many people stepped up to help and really realized that farming is more than just the cows and neighbors. It's an entire community that steps up to pull it all together, and so many people are there to support Addie and I, and it's really grown her love and confidence back again, and she's got a little herd of her own out there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. She still has some good memories of Steve and talks about him lots. It brought two sides of the family together. We were really fortunate. My family's all still in BC. My brothers, when Steve passed away, were a huge help. They came out and helped haul all the bales home and helped finish up projects around the farm. And then Steve's cousin Dylan was another huge supporter of ours. He basically was a part of everything from tattooing calves to haying season to bringing the cows home in the fall. So it was really cool to see the two families blend together, and yeah, so many awesome memories, especially for Addie to look back. We have so many great pictures and that sort of thing. So I think really fortunate. I think the best part of farming is usually with family, I would say, whether it's with kids and parents or siblings or grandparents. There's always a way for people to be involved in the areas that I guess they take the most love and passion for. He built the most beautiful memories, and even though the memories with Addie are small, she's always gonna be able to look at this place, and she'll get to look at it and say, hey, my mom and dad built this together. And then she's able to look at the next stage in her life and basically look at it and say, hey, we got to carry it on and move forward, whether that's with grandparents or whoever it is, or whether it's her and her kids years down the road, right? it always started with her grandfather's love and then my love, and kind of pieced all together.